Hi, welcome to my channel. My name is Kelsey. I'm a graphic designer, and today we're going to talk about creating supporting elements, creating those different digital print components that go with your brand when you're first establishing it. It's really important to have some key supporting elements, and maybe you're going into creating your brand because you know you need these different elements, and really the whole process of going through your mood boards, going through creating your logo and brand marks, and then going in doing your color and type, all are leading up to this one key element. And so if you haven't done this already, I would suggest to watch my other videos where I cover my 5-step branding process, and then I go in depth in all the different 5 steps. So this is actually the 4th step in creating the digital components or print components. So it's really key to have a few of these when you're kicking off your brand. I suggest my clients to have a whole variety of them. It really depends on the brand package. So if you're a client with me, I offer you 3 different options. So you have a basic brand package that is about 1 to 2 supporting elements. You have the intermediate, that's more like 3 to 4, and then you have the advanced. And so it really just depends on the individual's needs, but of course you just want to have some sort of selection that is really going to support your brand and bring it to life. That's the main key with these, is taking the logos and starting to build those different components. And usually in this step is when I start to talk about the patterns and illustrations and really develop those and see how they're going to come into play with the brand. So for creating the patterns and illustrations, I usually do these in Procreate. It's just the easiest way for me to be able to draw. I do them on my iPad. I literally have right here. And it's just a really great way to explore how the brand's gonna look. Of course, you're taking into account the mood board because maybe you have some direction already there for different illustration elements you want to have inspiration from, or we're taking into account the colors because of course that is important to spread across on your brand. And we're just thinking about where these patterns and illustrations are going to live. And so that's where it really depends on what your supporting elements are going to be. So I break these into 2 different versions. You have the digital and you have the print components. And it really depends on the business, the brand, the personal individual that it's for, on what they need. Maybe it's a mix of both, maybe it's just one-sided. One client example that I want to share is a YouTuber. So of course, working with a YouTuber, that means that she wants digital components. You need your YouTube banner, you need your end screen, you maybe have social that you want to connect to, so you want your Instagram highlights. So that is really the 3 different versions I was looking at when working with this client. And they were really fun to explore. I start out with one and then I share them with her to make sure that she approves of them. When it came down to her, she had a specific brand that looked into like lifestyle. She does apartment living, small space living, and lots of Trader Joe's hauls. So it was really fun to introduce a Trader Joe's illustration element for her. It was nice to introduce plants because she has lots of plants throughout her apartment. These were just key things that were helpful for her to take on as an individual and really explore for her brand. Another brand that I worked with was a pottery business, and so for this individual, she needed more print components. Well, this was basically because, of course, she actually had a physical product that she was giving people. And so one key element for her was creating the business cards. And so that was really fun to do as well, to see how her logo could fit on there, how they look in her different color schemes, how they can come to life. And so basically I designed those for her, and then we had them printed with Moo, if you're familiar with that printing service, and they really came out really great. So as you can tell from these 2 different brand projects, the supporting elements can really vary. I can create anything from social templates and highlight covers to having wedding invites. I count that as supporting elements sometimes, or really helping with a website. That would be a very big supporting element, but leading that way to go into that. So it just really depends on the individual needs. I want to pop up and share my whole list of what I kind of break down, what I offer to my clients when they're coming on. So I'll put that in here for you to see. But When it came down to my own personal brand, the Willoughby Design brand, it was looking at what I needed in the moment. So I needed Instagram highlight covers, and I was going to create my website. So the whole reason I developed the start of my brand was to be able to create a website where I could host my work on, where I could offer my services, and where I could really talk to my clients. Okay, so of course when I'm creating these, it's really going to depend on what I'm creating. Everything has its own components. So if I'm doing a digital element, I want to make sure I know the exact dimensions that are perfect for YouTube banner, because when you're looking at a YouTube banner, you're looking, okay, how is it gonna look when it's on someone's TV? How is it gonna look when someone's on their computer? How is it gonna look when someone's on their phone? So you have to make sure it's flexible for those 3 different platforms. And then you also want to make sure you're using the right color mode setting. So if you're in digital, you want to use RGB because that is the correct platform for that. And when you're printing, it needs to be CMYK. And of course too, when you're printing, you want to be working with the bleeds, if you're going to have a full bleed, or how that's going to work. And you just want to be really honing in on those. I mostly develop these in Illustrator. Of course, I said I create the patterns and illustrations usually in Procreate, but then I usually take it to the next step and bring them into Illustrator, or maybe I recreate them in vector format, again, so they can scale up. And those are highly for my digital components. I did create the business cards in Illustrator as well, but sometimes you could introduce InDesign, but those are the main programs. So Procreate, Illustrator, and InDesign are the 3 that I'm mostly using for these. I hope this helped you. I will be having more about supporting elements. I really want to dive deeper into how I create maybe YouTube assets, how I create different print assets, and I will have videos that talk specifically on each of those different elements. And again, I will be sharing a video on how to create your style guide, which is what you live by with your brand. And it's really fun to see how a brand is pulled together in one cohesive look. But if you'd like to see those, please subscribe, please give this video a like, and comment below if you have any questions. I'm always happy to help, happy to answer, and feel free to DM me on Instagram too if you would like to talk more about design.